Hello everyone, welcome back. My name's dustinkreis, and today I'm going to talk to you about a little vacation I went on. I have spent the last week and a half underneath the ocean. A good friend of mine on YouTube here, Undead Space Monkey, he sent me a copy of Bioshock Rapture, and I read this book, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. But this book made me really want to go back into the world of Bioshock. So I have spent the last week and a half. I read the book, I went and played Bioshock 1 again, and then I played Bioshock 2 for the first time. So I've really been hitting this series hard, and I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite series. If I ever did like a top 20 video game series, this would easily make the top 10, and I might have to really think about if it'd make top 5, but I love everything about this video game series. It's just such a marvel from start to finish, from conception to the world of Rapture to the ideas that each game presents. It really does have a lot more on its mind than most video games out there. It really is kind of like reading a novel in a lot of ways. So dense and so packed with stuff. But anyway, what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to talk about my thoughts and opinions on sort of each of the three things. So this one might go on for a little, quite a bit. I'm hoping not to make it too long, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into it and talk about the first game, Bioshock, which I picked up as soon as this thing came out. I threw this in, and I've never seen anything like this before in a video game. There's no way to describe the sort of wonder you get when you first start up the game, and after the plane crash and you descend into the world of Rapture. You really have no idea, what the idea of that like city underneath the water. It's such a fantastic concept. And once you start getting into it, you realize the world of splicers and big daddies and little sisters. It's something you can't shake for a while. And I know for a fact that I want a third game in this series. I know Bioshock Infinite's coming out, but I want to go back to Rapture and I want to see it again. Because each time you go there, you see something new. And every time I play this game, which I've played this game probably about 4 times now, start to finish, and every time I go down there, I witness something new. Whether it's a new poster that's up on the wall, I find a new audio diary, or you just notice like a new sculpture or something. The game world in this is dense. Such a fantastic story. Basically, the storyline is Andrew Ryan he's a big capitalist type person, very right wing, wants the free market society. Decides that he can no longer live in the modern world. So he uses all of his assets, all of his money to build the city of Rapture underneath the ocean, kind of near Iceland. And he invites what he considers to be the best and the brightest down into Rapture to live away from the rest of the world. That's sort of going, in his view, sort of in a Bolshevik way, that he feels like the world is going to annihilate itself with nuclear bombs and everything. So sort of to get away from that and live the life the way he wants, he creates this city. Well, needless to say, a lot of things go wrong, because when you live in a free market society like that, you don't have any regulations, or there's really not a lot of rules down in Rapture. So science just goes crazy and creates this new thing called plasmids. And basically, it's like a drug that gives you superpowers. You can throw lightning, you can throw fire, you can throw ice. You can teleport. Unfortunately, you don't get to play with that one in the games. I don't know how they would really, work that out. But, and the thing about it is it's addictive. Like, you have to use more in order to really get the rush again. So, Rapture kind of descends into this civil war state between these two factions of Andrew Ryan and his group and Sophia Lamb and her group. And through the 2 games, you really get a sense of the entire story of Rapture. And the first game really focuses on Andrew Ryan and sort of the Ayn Rand philosophy gone completely wrong. Which, I mean, in a lot of ways, if there was ever a society that was built like Rapture with that Ayn Rand, really free capitalist ideals, I think it would really go this way, because the only way to counteract, what would happen, if science was just able to do whatever the hell they wanted, businesses can just be as ruthless as they want to be in procuring the market. The only way to stop that is to put regulations on it, which, Andrew Ryan didn't believe in. So it really is kind of a good, kind of blueprint as to how a truly, Ayn Randish society would probably go. But also, as opposed to looking at sort of the far right, economist view of, the political spectrum, it's also a story about childhood rebellion. I don't know how to talk about this without really kind of ruining the story, but it really is sort of about a child rising up against his father and father figures in order to create a world for himself. And it kind of goes into why Bioshock 2 is kind of the exact opposite of this game. But that's something that's kind of sort of underneath the surface. You really have to sort of figure it out. It's about a child sort of growing up and figuring out his place in the world. And, from a graphic standpoint, it still looks fantastic today. Some of the textures look a little loose, I guess is the term I want to use. But still a fantastic looking game. The music in this game, in these games, I for one am a big fan of like music from the 30s and the 40s, and just walking around and hearing like the Ink Spots and all these other songs. And sometimes when they play, they sort of play out of tune and off speed, because these machines down Rapture are of course decaying. It really is a really kind of a creepy thing. And the score itself, the actual score they made for the game, it just evokes this feeling of sadness, because it really is Rapture really is a tragedy. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the Ayn Rand philosophy, but just these people that went down there and followed Andrew Ryan down there and basically found their purgatory, their hell, underneath the ocean, being addicted to these plasmids and this huge war, and basically. I think the book said that the census of Rapture was like 18,000 people were down there. I mean, it's a big city, and by the time that the first game takes place, like 90% of the population is dead. So it really is a real tragedy, and the haunting strings of the score really evoke that, and just from a completely gameplay standpoint, this is like the type of first-person shooter I really want. It's basically like, if you like Fallout, you will love this game. It's basically kind of the same thing. It's a RPG first-person shooter, and it's RPG in that your plasmids power up, your weapons power up. You collect experience points in the form of Atom to spend on your magic, which is the plasmids. It really is a first-person shooter RPG, and I personally love it, and I really think that Bioshock really stands as one of the crowning achievements of this generation. It just hits it on everything from a story perspective. You want to learn more about Rapture. You want to know what happened to this city. From a graphic standpoint, it was gorgeous when it came out, absolutely gorgeous. It just hit everything. It'll scare the crap out of you in places as well. Fantastic game. Definitely worth all the accolades it gets. And like I've played it 4 times in a row. 4 times, not in a row, but 4 times and start to finish. So if it's a game that I put in every now and then, it means that it's something special. Now, Bioshock 2 takes everything from the first game and kind of flips it a little bit. Now, I'm not going to talk about like the gameplay and the graphics. The graphics are great in this game. It's just it suffers from a lot of texture pop in. There was times where I was running around and like everything seemed very smooth and very weird looking. It's because the textures wouldn't pop in. But from just a storyline perspective, Bioshock 2 is the exact opposite of Bioshock 1, in that Bioshock 1 really takes on that right-wing philosophy. Bioshock 2 examines what would happen in an extremely leftist philosophy, with everyone sort of giving up their free will to be part of this collective. It really kind of shows, these games really kind of show that the extremes of both sides are not what you want to do. You want to take a very centrist view and take a little bit from both of them, and that's the way we can find our own utopia. But it takes on that leftist philosophy and explores the other side of the Bioshock, or the Rapture Civil War, which is Sophia Lamb, who comes down into Rapture under false pretenses and starts to subvert Andrew Ryan's plans. It's also a complete opposite from Bioshock 1, in that Bioshock 1 was a story about childhood rebellion and trying to find your own place in the world, whereas Bioshock 2 is about the love of a father and the wanting to protect a child. So when you look at these two games together, I mean, it really is a fantastic exploration of parent and child relationships. Sophia Lamb is the biological mother of Eleanor, and the big daddy that you play as, Delta, is after Eleanor is turned into a little sister, he is her daddy, and that mental conditioning that the little sisters get really takes over, and she looks to him as her father. Now, an interesting thing that I was thinking about while playing the game, they talk about sort of who Subject Delta was before the game, and it really made me think, could Subject Delta be Eleanor's biological father coming down to Rapture and to save her? Because as you find out, Subject Delta is just this guy that discovered Rapture, and he was down there looking for something, and it never comes out and explicitly says it, but I like to think that the Big Daddy Delta is in fact Eleanor's biological father. It really feels right to me, for some reason Bioshock 2 got a lot of hate out there and when it came out, and I'm not too sure why, because I absolutely love this game. I love the storyline. I love being able to explore other parts of Rapture. It was everything that I wanted from Bioshock 2. The only criticism I have of it is, of course, with the pop-in on the graphics. But it does feel a bit easier than Bioshock 1 did. There's just an abundance of dollars to find, Rapture dollars to find, to upgrade your weapons and that kind of stuff. There's an abundance of... every time, like in the first game, let's put it this way. In the first game, you find the little sisters and you have the choice of harvesting them or rescuing them. Okay. Well, in Bioshock 2, actually your first choice is whether to adopt the little sister or harvest her right there on the spot. And if you adopt the little sister, then you have to take her around to find corpses to suck Adam up in. Now, while the little sister is sucking up the Adam, you have to protect her from splicers and other big daddies coming to sort of steal her. And, I really like that aspect of it. It reminded me a lot in Bioshock 1, where I would, get ready to fight a big daddy, and I'd do all this preparation, like getting the right ammo equipped, getting my plasmids ready, and then going at it. And with this, it's really great because you find the corpse there, and then you sort of look around to see where all the entrances and everything is to the area, and then you'll set up like your trap rivets, and you'll set up proximity mines and stuff like that. And then finally, when you feel like you're ready, you'll let the little sister start sucking up the Adam, and you just kind of sit back and watch as all your traps and all your mini turrets and all that kind of stuff just take out all these splicers. It's really satisfying when you set up sort of the perfect... It's almost like tower defense in a way. And it's really satisfying when you actually do get to set it up and you survive the entire ordeal without firing one shot. That was pretty awesome. I did it once. But, I think that Bioshock 2 was a fantastic game, a fantastic exploration, a fantastic continuation of the first game. And I'm really hoping that, they're getting ready to do Bioshock Infinite. I think that Irrational Games is done with Rapture. I think that from here on out we're going to see like Bioshock Infinite 2, but I really hope that eventually we go back to Rapture for Bioshock 3. The only thing is I don't know how they're going to do it, because after Bioshock 2, really Rapture is completely in ruins. I mean, it's, you know, after two people going through kind of shooting the place up, there's not really many people left in Rapture to explore. And this game takes place 8 years after the first game. So it's going to seem weird, like what they're going to do now. It's like 1975 and someone just happens to stumble upon Rapture. So I don't know how they could continue the storyline, but I would love, love, love to see more in this city. And then finally here, let's go ahead and talk about the book, Bioshock Rapture. And what this is basically, they took a lot of the audio diaries from the games and built a story around it. So, like a lot of the minor characters, like Bill McDowell, you get to see a lot of him in this. You get, you know, just after reading it, I started Bioshock up, and it's just amazing to hear how many quotes in this book are actually from those audio diaries. But this tells the story of how Andrew Ryan and his group started Rapture, and it goes right up until the beginning stages of the Rapture Civil War. And if I have to tell you guys one thing, it's read this book after you beat the games, because it does kind of spoil the games a little bit. I read it before playing Bioshock 2, and when I got into Bioshock 2, I really kind of had a better understanding of what was going on, but at the same time, a few things were spoiled with Eleanor, and sort of the identity of Subject Delta was spoiled a little bit as well. But, well, I guess, I mean, it wasn't really spoiled because they never really say who Delta is. They just kind of give you hints. But yeah, I personally, I love this this book. I read it like super fast because there's just something about that Art Deco diesel punk world of Rapture that I really want to spend more time in. And if they make more books, I mean, I don't know how they would do it, because pretty much, you know, the Civil War's been covered, the creation's been covered, the events afterward have been covered. I don't know where else they would go with the storyline, but it's one of those things that ingrains itself into your brain. And to see, like when you first go underneath the water in that bathysphere, and you see this city in the ocean, just underneath the ocean on the ocean bed, it's like the most surreal thing in the world, and like sharks are swimming through it and all this stuff. I really hope they make a movie of this. I would love to watch, and it is done correctly. Like if Benicio, or not, yeah, no, Guillermo del Toro. I almost said Benicio del Toro. Guillermo del Toro. If he got a hold of this property, I know they were talking about him doing, was it Halo? But if he gets a hold of this property, oh my God, that would just be perfect. But I would also be scared of them turning it into like a big action movie. Instead of being like a real sort of tragedy, there's a real sadness to both games, and to the book Rapture as well. So yeah, guys, I'm not sure how long I prattled on here, but I love the Bioshock series. I think they're just fantastic games. It's a fantastic story. And I'm really getting excited for Bioshock Infinite, and it's going to be coming out in February. And once again, they've created this incredible world of Columbia, and this floating city in the sky, and this incredible sort of... it's really funny because, you know, they're really taking on some heady... they're really taking on some heady topics with these games, like the right wing and the left wing with Bioshock and Bioshock 2. And then with Bioshock Infinite, they're really taking on sort of this idea of American exceptionalism, which I think really only exists in America. We sort of have this inflated ego, this inflated idea of what we are and what our place is in the world. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Infinite takes that on, and how they explain why this American exceptionalism led to this the destruction or this problem in Colombia, because that was kind of the cool thing about Bioshock with Rapture, is seeing how this struggle between this right and leftist philosophy really tore this city apart, and really it's a kind of a warning to say, you know, you really should take the road down the middle. You know, don't veer very far right, don't veer very far left. Just, you know, take that middle road, and things will be a lot better. So, but yeah, guys, if you guys have not played the Bioshock games, go out and get them. You can find them for really cheap at GameStop or online, and it's one of the most exceptionally built worlds in games. And God, I even now, after beating Bioshock 2, I cannot shake Rapture. I cannot shake it. I want to go back there and visit it again. So, who knows? Maybe, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like starting the games up again. I mean, and if that's not a statement of quality, then I don't know what is. So, yeah, guys, definitely go out and get these games. And if you love the world as much as I do, get Rapture. But know that it's not really essential, because the games do cover a lot of what happens in this book. It's just in those audio diaries, and it's a little bit more vague in the games, and then this is a lot more spelled out, and it's great stuff. So, anyway, guys, that's it for me. In other news, episode 2 of Another Gaming Podcast is up, so I'll put a link down below so you guys can go check out the channel there, because it's got 38 subscribers, and I feel like people are you need to subscribe to it, because you're gonna miss out on the episodes unless you don't care. Then don't subscribe to it. But yeah, but we're gonna Laggy Gamer and I are gonna make more announcements for it and try to keep it in sort of the consciousness of people, because I don't know, it seems like people forgot. But anyway, that episode is up, and we go on great lengths about Last Story and other things, and it's a long episode, and it's one that I put a lot of work in, editing that thing, so definitely go check that out. But I got a few other things planned here. Hopefully I'll get to those sometime this week, and yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.